Hey, this is a highly requested video, and these are the common mistakes that my clients make in the DMs that I want to share with everyone. And if you've been in the game long enough, you know DMs is one of the most crucial processes because that's the bridge between your conversation and actually getting them to book a call. And so dialing in this process is really important. And why it's really important is because if you do this wrong, the first thing that will happen is maybe your conversations aren't good enough to get to a point where you can even book a call, right? And the second thing is maybe you've had times where you actually book a call, but they just ghost you and don't turn up, right? That is so bad. And so you've put in all this work in conversating, but then they don't show up and you wonder why, and it's because of the conversations. And third thing, sometimes they obviously book through your Calendly and they book a call, but then they don't show up and you wonder why. And it's all to do with conversations and DMs. So let's get into it. So the first mistake is digging into pain. I cannot stress this enough. This is the most common mistake that my clients make. And what this means is when you say a pain point, right? So in a general structure in a DM, you would ask them about the dream outcome and their pain point. If you don't know about that already, DM me and I can send you a framework. But when you're digging into the pain point, you need to ask that pain point 2 or 3 times. So, for example, I work with fitness coaches, right? And a lot of their clients would say, I'm struggling to bulk, let's say. And so a lot of coaches would just see that, okay, they've said their pain point, move on, ask for the booking, and then wonder why they didn't show up. And that's because they haven't dug the pain deep enough. And so in that example, what I would do is if they're saying I'm struggling with bulking, a good tip I like to do is use the wording back onto them. So if they're like, I'm struggling with bulking, you should ask them, what are you struggling specifically with bulking? Like, what's hard about bulking? Is it the diet? Is it the nutrition? Okay, so literally ask and probe further about that. That's a really good way to dig into the pain point. And so, what this means is if you dig into the pain point well, they'll feel the pain point and the emotions much deeper. And so, they're more likely to actually buy from you because they realize, okay, this is something I need to fix. And another thing I want to say about the pain point is there's usually 2 layers of pain points. There's usually the surface pain and the deeper pain. And the surface pain would be something like, I want to get fit, right? Everyone wants to get fit. But what's the inner pain and the deep pain point? Usually you want to get fit because of your confidence, because you want to spend time with your family. It's usually something deeper. And so if you make them realize that, okay, you're trying to help them with the family, or you're trying to help them with confidence, then you're now positioned as a person who can help them get confidence or help them with their family rather than just someone who can get them fit. And so they're much more likely to pay and also pay you more because you're actually selling that transformation and not the process. And the second mistake is the post-booking nurture. And what do I mean by that? It means once you send the Calendly link, that is not your call to just, okay, they've booked a meeting with me, so I can just leave and dip on the call, right? What you need to do is you need to follow up. So once you book the Calendly link, there are 3 options you can do. The first thing is you can send a VSL, which is a video sales letter. And what that will mean is your client will be very nurtured when they show up, and you've already handled all the objections if you do the VSL correctly. However, if you don't have a VSL at the moment, then I would move on to the second thing, which is just send them free resources, because the more resources that you can help them with, the more in value that they are. And so the more likely they are to turn up because they feel bad. The third thing is just keeping the conversation going, right? If you keep the conversation going and keep it friendly, they'll feel bad for not showing up as well. So make sure to do either of those 3. And the third thing is relate in question. And what this means is when you don't know what to say, this is a framework that I like giving to my clients. And so what is relate in question? If you don't know what to say, let's say they say, oh, I'm struggling with bulking, use this framework. So relate would be, okay, oh, okay, you're struggling with bulking. a lot of my clients actually do struggle with bulking. Like it's hard to put on mass, okay? And even better if you can talk about yourself. Oh, no worries. I completely get you. I used to struggle with that myself. I would eat as much as I could and still feel shit, okay? And then you would ask a question back. So this is where you say your question. So you probe further about the pain point or probe further about the dream outcome. And so a lot of mistakes clients make is just do question. So question, question, question. And so what that means is it feels more like an interrogation rather than an actual conversation. And as a client, you never want to feel sold to. You want to feel like you're having a conversation and you have a problem and you're the solution. And so if in doubt, always follow the relate and question framework. And this relate that is really important because if you are the one who can understand their pain point, even better if you can understand the specific pain point and say it back to them, then they'll be like, okay, oh, wait, that's literally me. And so even if you technically don't have the exact solution, they will see you as a person of higher authority. And so, yeah, these are the common mistakes in your DMs. And if you have anything that you want to know more about, I can send you freebies in my SOPs that I usually give to my clients. I can send you snippets of it. But apart from that,